opportunity here to have another ETS one-on-one. So thank you for coming, Guerry.
Glad to do it.
Would you mind providing an introduction yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Guerry Waters. I'm VP of Industry Strategy at Oracle. The utilities group within Oracle is in the large overall Oracle. There's a number of vertical industries that have emphasis within the Oracle environment. So we're one of those multiple groups in the Oracle environment. Now, you typically think of Oracle, you think of database and other technology, but there are some very specialized industry focus within the Oracle environment. So my particular area is the utility sector. I'm responsible for managing relationships with various groups, industry analysts. I was an industry analyst for years, as well as some executive relationships, as well as working in the strategy group too.
Interesting. Now, this conference, ETS, how is that shaping your vision and inspiring you from the dialogue you've heard so far?
Well, I mean, and a couple of points on that. I mean, I've had a number of sessions that I really thought were quite impressive, with their insights. And some, I would say that probably there was verification of what, some of our thinking in the Oracle utility business. And then at some others, I thought were really kind of very insightful about the future of the business itself. One particularly yesterday around analytics, that was talking about analytics at the edge of the grid. And they got fairly in depth there. I recall now it was Rayford Smith from Entergy, April, I can't remember her last name, from Navigant, and a gentleman, Paul Lau from SMUD. And they really got a very good dialogue going about the importance of the grid, but mostly around how analytics is going to play such a big role in the future of the grid, and anywhere from optimizing the grid to improving customer relationships across the board. So I really felt like that was quite insightful, particularly the way they thought about it, the value of the network, and they really got into some really good discussion with that. So I felt like that was probably, maybe from my point of view, being a technologist, which really was a highlight there, and since we are very much around a data company too.
What are some of the implications of that in terms of analytics taking such a key role in the future of utilities? Yeah,
good question. So I kind of relate it in three ways. Now, first of all, you think about the grid itself. And I know today, the grid goes by any number of names, anywhere from the digital grid to the smart grid, on and on and on. I mean, all of us vendors and other people have various terminology that we're using around the grid. But the one that's sticking in my mind is a customer-centric grid. And the idea, that the grid is going to have great value, to the utility industry itself. I mean, there's been some controversy about some of the different iterations of what the future of the utility industry is going to be, about what's going to be the role of the utility. Well, I think it's clear now, it's becoming clear to regulators and to others, that the role of the utility industry is really going to be able to operate that grid. And so, but taking the grid, getting aside from the engineering and the physics of the grid, which still has room to grow, room to be optimized, and using data is very much a part of that. But the part now I think is emerging to is the value of that grid to the customer itself. I mean, I like to call it a platform for commerce. The idea now that customers can start exchanging energy, other products and services, or third parties can now come in and start using that same environment too. Provided, of course, there's a level playing field. I perceive, and others foresee, the grid being a platform operated by the utility industry. But then the products and services being added to that, the utility can add their own products and services to that, but they also must keep it open so third parties, even customers, can add value on that top of that grid too. So there's that. I mean, a clear emergence here, and I think it's really coming out in this conference here, is about the importance of, frankly, customer engagement, better customer engagement, more customer satisfaction, giving customers more options about the way they use their energy. And I believe that's a trend, one that we're particularly interested in with what we provide to the marketplace, and others do too. And then lastly, which I've not heard here, and maybe it's because I know we still got a day or two to go here, is what's happening around technology itself. I think, there's clearly a trend here of moving away from the idea in the utility industry that you treat large software as an asset that you've got to amortize over some period of time. Recently, I've been with regulators in the industry and other people that are very much involved in the future of the industry about getting past to the point now that you can put, clearly the innovation in the industry is accelerating. And technology is a big driver underneath that, or enabler of that. And the idea is well, no, you can't really spend 2.5 years or something like that putting in massive projects. Is there a better way? And so now, of course, the term is cloud. Can you have technology available in the cloud and then make it much readily available, that you don't have to burden yourself about trying to keep that operating. In fact, you just subscribe to the cloud and do it that way. A much better model, we believe, and others in the industry. And recently, the regulators, NARU, passed a resolution endorsing the idea that this was a good technology that state regulators should consider. We still got to go through the prudence and review of the thing about whether the overall project makes sense or not. But this is certainly an option worth considering now. So I think that's going to really revolutionize the way utilities are using technology.
As you were giving those remarks, in my mind, I'm seeing the Apple phone, right? The iPhone with its operating system, and then the ability as the end user to pull up apps that I can get from a wide array of choices, including ones from Apple, right? And I can use that to make my life better.
Great example. I think, if you think about what's happened around the internet, for example, and what the idea was, it was a platform out there, essentially, in kind of early ways to communicate with each other, around different topics and so on, and do research. But now, I think there's a very close similarity to the utility grid. That idea about the enabler of commerce is the same way that in the internet, that there's all kinds of products and services now. Once it becomes developed to the point that's very open, and third parties and others can contribute to that the value can keep increasing of that too. And then I'm sure you've heard the thing about Metcalfe's law about the more nodes and all you have on the network, the greater its value is going to be. I see the same thing happening with the grid. The idea is that moving it beyond today, it's kind of confined to up to the point of the meter, and at that point now. But I see a day coming, of course, with regulations so on allowing it, that it will move beyond that, move into the home. They'll obviously going to be moving into another node would be electric vehicles and so on like that with there too. So yeah, I think that's a very good analogy about what's happening around the internet and what happened there and all the devices and everything that were added to that over time.
The valuation of Apple through that process of creating a platform was outstanding, and it created opportunity for all these other businesses at the same time.
Absolutely.
So I think that elusive win-win in this new utility consumer paradigm, it's going to have some of these ingredients.
Yeah, it's back to that thing about enabling commerce. That could be among customers, third parties that come in adding products and services on top of that too.
Now, with your experience as Oracle, when you see this potential about enabling commerce, multiple more nodes than we have today, how do we handle the threat of cybersecurity with being more interconnected?
Yeah. Obviously, one of the hot topics in the industry today is cybersecurity at all different levels. You have applications, and you have protection of customer data. The idea about being able to penetrate networks. From our own point of view, we have to, it's mainly applications, building applications. And that's something we've always built, into the application itself, even into the technology. There's various levels of security that we do in there without getting into a lot of technical terms around how we've done that over time. So we're very comfortable with the idea we can secure applications. Now, network is a different thing. When you get into how you're going to get into networks themselves and be able to access things, there is a lot of research and so on going on around all of that. We participate in that, but I think over time, that that's you're going to see some dramatic changes in the technology to be able to protect networks further. The downside to that is you got to balance that with usability. Frankly, we could make things so secure today, but it would be a major hassle of you going out and trying to get your work done on a day-to-day basis. So that's what we're constantly looking at, is how can we balance usability whether it be having a very high level of security in that too.
Interesting. Just why you can go to any event around the world. I mean, I'm sure you have the world to work with.
Yeah.
What makes ETS unique or special to you?
We're a sponsor of this conference, and we feel like, you know, it gets in, takes a little different angle, you know, on the industry. That I like the breadth of, you know, the different sessions that are here. I think, you know, they're a little bit, frankly, different in some aspects. You know, the idea about mixing the art in there I thought was particularly good. I had not really thought of that before, but being kind of a former performer myself, you know, I did singing for a number of years. I've always thought about, you know, relationships, you know, of art and music, and the idea that's always been, and mathematics, so all the tie in there too. And so you really got me thinking about that at this opening session here. So I thought that was a very different way to kind of look at it. And I think overall, you kind of carry that theme a little bit through the overall conference here too, which I think is good for you guys. Way to go with that.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like by touching these different areas of our brain in this event, I think it helps us be able to think and see differently.
Good point.
And that's what's exciting, and then that's what makes, to me, this unique.
I agree. I mean, the idea here is you kind of you expand your sphere of thinking about things, and not get kind of us technologists and engineers, we really kind of get a little bit hidebound in the way we want to approach things. So
yeah.
Good for you guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.